one of the most advanced features to get used to in Flexi is how we treat alignment. Now, whereas it is very similar to how Shopify's New Horizon theme works, there are still a few different nuances that you need to know, and I'll cover them in this video here. So going over to our content section that was added by Flexi, if we click into the group, off the bat, we're going to notice a few different settings. And out of anything with alignment on Flexi, the group block is by far the most powerful and the one that you'll need to get used to. So within the group block, we'll notice that we have a desktop layout and a mobile layout. By default, we just use the desktop layout. That'll overwrite whatever layout settings on mobile, but we can add custom mobile layout settings, and I will do so in a second. But before I go there, we'll notice that we can either set our direction as horizontal or vertical. If it's vertical, we have a few different settings. We can either adjust the content so it's top aligned, center, or bottom. But most importantly, a lot of the time, we'll want to have text on the left-hand side and then a button on the right-hand side. So we're going to choose space between. So now that space between is selected, we'll notice that we actually aren't really getting space in between all the different elements. So what's up with that? So what we need to do is actually set our width to full. And now we'll notice that space between is working. But it's not really taking effect because now each one of the elements has just taken up its own space. And this is where a lot of the different nuances come into play. So what we're going to want to do in this setting is if there's a group that we want to stack in a certain way, what we're going to do is we're going to add another group block. So under Flexi Groups, we're going to want to add group, and then we're going to drag our heading into that group, and then we're going to drag our description into that group. And then what we're going to want to do is within our group, we want to set some sort of fixed width. So we only really ever want this to go 500 pixels. So I'm going to drag it down to 500. And so 504 is the closest that we can get. So that's what we'll roll with. And now we're starting to see a section that is looking a little bit more palatable. So long story short, what we're learning here is that we can adjust within each one of the groups our vertical and horizontal alignment, and then we can adjust top, center, bottom for our position, and then for our other alignment we have space between. And then when something stacks, we just have left, center, and right for the content. Now left, center, and right will only work if each one of our blocks is set to fit width, and they are by default. If they are set to full, what we'll have to do is use our text alignment in order to align the text. Now, at this point, you may be wondering, well, this looks really fantastic on desktop, but how does this work on mobile? On mobile layout, we're going to want to hit the horizontal setting, and once horizontal is set, we should notice that everything is working to plan here. Now, we can also adjust other small things such as gap, and again, we could adjust our alignment over here as well. And make our alignment different on mobile than on desktop. So for example, in this case, if we wanted the button to be center, we could do so. And then on desktop, it would look like so. Awesome. So I know that this is a pretty packed video here, and I don't want to confuse you too much, so I'll end the video soon. But what I want to recap this whole video with is that essentially Flexi uses similar theme architecture as Shopify's new theme Horizon, and generally speaking, this is the direction Shopify is going in. And if you want to build robust layouts, I recommend using the group block and then getting used to how it works within the desktop and mobile settings. Additionally, if you're finding that there is a certain part or there's a few blocks that aren't aligned properly within a certain group, you can always nest in another group, and like we did here, and then put our heading and our description within that group, and then we have an outermost group that acts as another container. And really, you can go as many groups deep as you want and build pretty cool layouts. Anyways, if you want to learn more about Flexi, I highly recommend that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, or you can check out the Flexi documentation And if you have any questions, feel free to open the Flexi app and message me on there. Cheers.